So Warriors Today by Chat Sports has been growing like crazy, and during the offseason, we were pushing out a couple videos per week, but because the channel continues to grow and the NBA season is here, do you want more Warriors videos on a weekly basis? If so, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's get into today's show. You're watching Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. A loaded show coming your way today as we take a look at what Jordan Poole did in the preseason. We'll take a look at the Warriors opening night roster. But first, some Warriors roster news, because over the weekend, Avery Bradley did not make the roster cut. And he has been claimed on waivers by the Los Angeles Lakers, according to Charania. Now, Bradley spent the preseason with Golden State. We pushed out a video, of course, right after it happened, and it blew up because it seemed as though Dub Nation was very, very excited about Bradley hopping on board the Warriors. But according to Marcus Thompson, the release of Avery Bradley and him not making the team came as a surprise to the fan base, as well as Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who actually wanted to keep Avery Bradley on the opening night roster. Instead, Bob Myers elects not to keep him on board. I loved his defensive potential with Golden State. I thought he was going to be able to bring a lot to the table in that regard, but he just didn't impress a lot of people throughout this preseason slate. Anthony Slater of The Athletic saying this about Bradley's short stint in the Bay Area. Of the camp invitees, Bradley was given the biggest preseason chance to win the 15th job. Kerr had Bradley as the first substitution off the bench in the opener. He came out, and then he missed 5 threes in his first 6 minutes, an ominous sign. Bradley's threes were never really coming around in the preseason since defenses showed they will leave him open, and his on-ball defense, while capable, was not spectacular as it was during his prime days. So even though Avery Bradley was in his early 30s, showing some signs of age, which he started to show a little bit last year while with the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets, that was one of my key concerns with Avery Bradley when originally he did sign with Golden State. So are you salty Bradley was cut by the Dubs? Because Steph Curry, Draymond Green, according to Marcus Thompson, not really happy about it. Are you on their side or on the side of Bob Myers? Type S for you're salty they didn't keep him on this roster. Type F for it's fine. Get those votes in the comment section right now. As for the players who are on the Warriors opening night roster, it has been set for the 2021-2022 season. Nemanja Bjelica, NBA free agency signing. He's going to be a stretch 4 for this club. Chris Chiozza, guard who can kind of create a little bit. Steph Curry coming off the NBA scoring title. I think he could win NBA MVP this year. Draymond Green, I'm looking for him to take steps and do more offensively, but still a spectacular defensive player. Andre Iguodala, the former NBA Finals MVP, back with the Dubs. Jonathan Kuminga overcoming a little bit of a knee injury right now, expected to ramp up his activity here soon. Damian Lee out of Drexel did make the roster. He was kind of on the bubble. Kevon Looney, a mainstay with this group. The other rookie, Moses Moody, selected at 14 because Kuminga was drafted at 7. Of course, going to make this roster. The preseason breakout star, who we'll talk about here in just a bit, Jordan Poole, expected to be the starting 2 guard until Klay Thompson comes back. Even when Klay comes back, it could be Poole and Klay in that starting lineup, maybe kicking out Andrew Wiggins. Otto Porter, Klay Thompson, Juan Toscano Anderson, the aforementioned Wiggins, and James Wiseman also making this team. And I kind of like this roster construction. So too do fans out there, some NBA analysts like myself, thinking that the Warriors can get back to championship contention, especially when Klay Thompson comes back. And because of those lofty expectations, there's some pressure on Golden State. So Steve Kerr was asked about that recently. He had this to say about the roster and those expectations that exist this year, but that's all part of the deal. It doesn't even ever enter my mind. I never enter the building and say, we better get it done this season or else. I just come in and enjoy the work. Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, some of the other players on this roster, the front office, the owner, Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, they're used to this. And Golden State is built for this. They're used to having expectations, and in fact, it's been a couple of years since they've had these championship expectations. So I can only imagine that the core group within this organization and on this roster are welcoming some of these preseason expectations and the pressure, because that means that they have a roster that's capable of competing for the Western Conference title and possibly an NBA championship. Now, I know a lot of people are looking at that Warriors roster as we broke it down, and they're asking about Gary Payton II. Has not initially made the team, but according to multiple reports out there, Gary Payton II still an option to make this Golden State roster. If you want to keep it honest, I mean, honestly, he wouldn't get much playing time either way with the Warriors this upcoming season. He'd be a back end of the bench, fringe roster type of player, but I know a lot of Warriors fans like him, so we had to update you on his status. Grade the Warriors roster after just seeing all 15 spots. Of course, Klay Thompson, James Wiseman going to be injured for a little while. A, B, C, D, or F. I think this roster, B+. I think it's pretty damn good. Sound off how you feel down below. Now to Jordan Poole. He was one of the biggest breakout stars during the NBA preseason, and some people are probably watching on their phones, tablets, computers, saying, it's only the NBA preseason. It doesn't matter at all. It matters a lot for a guy like Poole, who entered training camp not having a solidified kind of role on this roster. We knew that he was going to make it, right? But was he going to be a starter? Was he going to come in off the bench? Well, not only did he ball out, he also captured the attention of everybody nationwide. CBS Sports named its NBA All-Preseason team, Jordan Poole a part of that starting five, alongside Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat, Isaiah Joe of the Philadelphia 76ers, Jordan Nwora of the Milwaukee Bucks, and OG Anunoby of the Toronto Raptors. I think out of all of those guys, Jordan Poole was the biggest winner among everybody, because you could see the massive jump that he took in his game from last year to the preseason. All that hard work, him grinding and hustling, certainly paid off. Here's what CBS Sports had to say about Poole being named to those five. Entering camp, there was presumably a competition for the Warriors starting shooting guard spot, with Klay Thompson still unavailable, but Poole put an end to that pretty quickly, carrying over from a strong end to last season. Poole looked confident and comfortable while putting up 21.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game on 51% shooting from the floor, 36% shooting from long range, and 87% from the free throw line. Poole has been phenomenal around the basket with lightning-quick bursts of speed and creative, contortive finishes. Now, if there's one thing that Jordan Poole has to work on, it is certainly the defensive aspect of his game, and that's something that Steve Kerr has been harping on for a little while now. But when it comes to his offensive game, I think it's there. He can create off the bounce. He can really get to the rack. I like his ability to hit some step backs and sidestep threes. The range is certainly there. Pretty amazing how far he has come over the last couple of years. And let me tell you this about Jordan Poole. The pool party is on. Jump on in. And with that, let me ask you this, because the Jordan Poole hype train, you better hop on board because it's certainly real. What are you doing to celebrate the pool party? Type C for cannonball to make a big splash. Type D for I'm diving right into the Jordan Poole party. Or type F for belly flop if you want to make some noise, cause some laughs, and also cause a big splash as well. I'm telling you, the Jordan Poole hype is real. I'm all in. I'm doing all three of these. You know how? I'm going to go off the diving board, do a cannonball. I'm going to go off, do a little high dive. Then I'm going to do a little belly flop as the dot on the exclamation point. But get your votes in. Cannot wait for Warriors basketball to be back. Tipping off the season tomorrow night, Tuesday, against the Los Angeles Lakers, 3.5-point underdogs. Let's get this dub, Nation, and make sure you subscribe to the channel.